27th night with like a surety that this will be the night of Layla-tul Qadr. Odd nights try and seek, and this is a good indication that tonight could be is also one of the odd nights, and it could be the case of Layla-tul Qadr. Now, what is Layla-tul Qadr, and how we can actually benefit from that Layla-tul Qadr? Like Allah SWT says in the Quran, this is the night which is better than 1,000 months, which is equivalent to about 82, 83 years or so. Why was this the case that Allah SWT made an opportunity and revealed such a night? Is because some of the companions, they were saying that, gosh, look, in the previous ummah, other ummahs, people used to live like 800 years, 900 years. In our ummah, what's the maximum span? About 60, 70, 80 years, that's about it, if that. So to compensate that, Allah SWT created a special night so that if you achieve once in a lifetime, it gives you one lifetime's worth of ibadah. Twice, 2 lifetimes, 3, 4, 5. Now imagine how old we are. How many lifetime worth of ibadah that we could actually got and received, but really did we attain them? Did we spend them in the right way? Were we actually in remembrance of Allah? Were we ghafla of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? That is the real question that you should be pondering and asking. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us many countless opportunities to utilize our times that He's given us so that we can achieve maximum benefit. So tonight is one of those odd nights. Let's see what are the things that we can do to achieve that benefit. What can we do? So here is the crowning of the glory of the month of Ramadan. Is that Layla-tul Qadr is a crowning. It's like the Taj, the crown of the month of Ramadan. It's also been, this is the blessed night in which Allah SWT revealed the Quran Majid, and this night as well. The last book of Allah SWT upon His beloved Messenger Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam for the guidance of whole of mankind. This is the manual in which everything has a manual. The job of a manual is to watch, to show how to function something, to demonstrate how you can function. The job of the Quran is a manual in which we can actually live our life, attain the purpose. What is the purpose? What is the objective of our life? Who is Allah SWT? Who is Rasulullah SAW? Who are the messengers? Knowing about them, knowing about the angels, knowing about the heavenly world, knowing about Akhirah, knowing about paradise, about hell, and coming to know about them, knowing about the different creation, more importantly, knowing about our purpose. And if we have those things, that hopefully through the Jalik series that we're listening to, that you're hearing, that if we implement all of these things into our life, this really for me, I think, forget about any deeds, that if you're living a life of heedlessness, if you're living a life which is aimless, like Ustaz Ijaz was saying, is that those people who have no purpose in life. This is a Dajjalic life really. Why? Is because there's hopelessness. You don't know which way you're going. You don't know which way to turn. At least if you have an aim and goal in life, i.e. your aim, your goal is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you at least have that set, through your mind and heart that this is the way I'm going to go, this is the way I'm going to turn, I think this is the Layla-tul Qadr night for me and you. We think Layla-tul Qadr should be something like what? Angels should descend on us, they raise us to the heavens, and the feast is in the food. Inshallah, I hope it does, but the real, what I'm trying to change in your mindset and your psyche and your thought process is that Layla-tul Qadr will be Layla-tul Qadr. Any night can be Layla-tul Qadr really. Is once this thing in your head and your heart starts communicating, saying, hey, change. Use the blessing of this night and change to what? Towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You are fixated. Imagine we say we're fixated with the dunya, we're fixated with wealth, we're fixated with women, we're fixated with children, we're fixated with mansions, we're fixated with lands, we're fixated with shares going up and down. Like the shares go up and down, our heart rate also goes up and down. Our moon goes up and moon switch goes up and down. Oh yeah, it's going up and down. Why? Oh yes, you've done really well. Oh, alhamdulillah, I'm so clever. I just clicked at the right time, I bought the right share. And there, you were like going, oh, look at me, I am so good, I'm so clever. And you're putting your feet up. 2 seconds later, shares going, drop down. Inna lillahi raji'un. Oh, where's the grave? Let me find a hole, let me dig a hole. I don't know how people can actually deal with shares, honestly. I really don't know. It's a very, very difficult thing because if it makes you like this, how can you actually even live? There's no comfort, there's no peace in there whatsoever because your heart is fluctuating every moment. You're on the edge, as they say. And maybe some people enjoy it, some people don't enjoy it. I'm one of those, I like certainty. There's my job, yeah, I have a wage at the end of the day, that's good, yeah, that's fine, thank you very much. I'll be happy with that. Anyway, that's a different matter. But what I'm trying to say is that here is that our hearts and everything is all geared towards the dunya. And really, Layla-tul Qadr, why I mean the analogy of the night of power, if Quran was revealed on this night, i.e., when Allah SWT command, Allah SWT's love, and Allah SWT's way will actually be revealed to you on that night, and you think, this is it, this is going to be the overwhelming power, this is the power which will change me, reform me, this is Layla-tul Qadr for me and you. This is better than anything that you can do. Because you've now got your goals right, aspirations right, purpose right, direction right. All you got to do is now just walk. Because no matter how much the Quran is there, Rasulullah is there, me and you have to walk the walk. Me and you have to actually do the walking. Nobody else can do it. Like many people have this notion, if I have a sheikh, if I have a guide, if I have a peer, oh yes, alhamdulillah, and they're very, very safe, and they think, yes, alhamdulillah, I am well, I am good, I have a sheikh, and they're comfortable with that notion. How, forget about a sheikh or a peer, even Rasulullah, imagine Rasulullah saying to whom? His blessed daughter, the princess of paradise, the queen of paradise, Hazrat Fatimatul Zahra anha, oh Aisha, imagine Rasulullah said this, oh Aisha, even though she's a guaranteed Jannati, even though she's guaranteed, she's the queen of paradise. Oh Aisha, oh, I don't know why I'm keeping asking Aisha, maybe it's because we need to send blessing upon her, may Allah bless her, elevate her status, the rank. Oh Fatima to Zahra, oh Fatima, even you have to actually save yourself from hellfire. And we think we have a peer, a sheikh guide, and the guide will actually guide. No. All the companions were of the mindset that we have to do. And then what do? We rely on the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not on our deeds. Not on what is our deeds in comparison to these blessed figures? Nothing. We rely on His mercy, not on our deeds, not on our actions, whatever. It's all on Allah's mercy. That's what we rely on. So here is the verse of the Quran that was revealed about Layla-tul Qadr. It's a night of bliss. The Prophet reported said that this month has come to you, and therein there's a night which is better than 1,000 months. Whomsoever is deprived of it is deprived of all good, and none is deprived except of his good except totally unfortunate person. And there are many people. There's, for example, that person who doesn't do tawbah and is a mushrik, that he's not forgiven. This person who is actually a sharabi, alcoholic, he is also deprived of this night. That person who is actually fornicating, adulterer, is also many categories of people. All I'm saying is that tonight, make sure you do pakka tawbah. Proper tawbah to nusud, transformational tawbah, in which you really empty your heart to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you make that turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and say, I've led a life which is not befitting Ya Rabbal Alameen. I am now made this firm resolve that I want you and you to be the center of my life. That is what you're doing. Layla-tul Qadr is one seeks to finds its power not just in Ramadan but any other time. That's what I mentioned, that you can actually, real thing about Layla-tul Qadr, it should be transformational. That night should change you. What? Change you from a Dajjalic way to the Muhammadan way. From sinfulness to piety. From shaitanic way to the way of nur and light and way of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. From darkness, from evil towards light and purity. That is what we're saying, is that should be what in your heart. So what is the transformation? Is that from your heart, from your mind and your intentions, it should be now already working, and it should be saying, is that right, I want to go towards that way. Let me make that change. And you take that step and you turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then Hazrat Aisha Siddiqa radhiyallahu anha said, what should we supplicate in this night? Rasulullah taught her, what is this? Is that I asked Hazrat Aisha, there we go, that's the reason why. Hazrat Aisha Siddiqa radhiyallahu anha, she asked on our behalf, mine and yourself behalf, that I asked the Messenger of Allah, tell me if I were to find the night of power, what should I recite? And inshallah we'll recite this as well. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they mentioned and advised her, recite Allahumma innaka afu tuhibbul afwa fa'fu anni. Allahumma innaka afu tuhibbul afwa fa'fu anni. Tuhibbul afwa fa'fu anni is that, oh Allah, you are forgiving, you love to forgive, you love forgiveness, so forgive me, Ya Rabbal Alameen. So afwa is pardoning. Even then, our beloved master, they explain what is the difference between maghfirah and afu. So inshallah we won't go into that. So what can you do tonight? This is one of the du'as you can recite constantly, which is very good. But also there's 8 rakats namaz that you can do in this night. And basically is 2 rakat of tawbah, 2 rakat of salatul shukr, 2 rakat of salatul hajat, and 2 rakat of salatul istikhara. And what you do is that in each rakat, as they say, it's just similarly, this is the practical version of the muraqabah ineffectively. Practical version of the muraqabah that you present your sin. That's the sort of state that you should be in when you're reciting that you present your sin. Now in the Salatul Tawbah, it's as if you present it, Ya Allah, forgive me, and be in this muraqabah, be in that mindset. And then when you do Salatul Shukr, be in that mindset of thanking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When you're doing Salatul Hajj, be in the mindset of I need, Ya Rabbal, this is what I need. I need you in my life, I need your love, your guidance, and so on. And then Salatul Hajat, Salatul Istikhara, goodness, that Ya Rabbal, enable me to do good decision. I need decision on this, I need guidance on this, I need guidance on that. That's what you should be doing. So forgiveness, one primary forgiveness is whatever the rights of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, ask forgiveness on that. The rights of Rasulullah ask forgiveness on that. The rights of Rasulullah and the rights of creation. And also one of the element, one right that many of us miss out. And I'm sure you're probably thinking, what is that? So I'm going to pick on someone. I've mentioned there are 4 rights, or 5 rights you can say. One is rights of Allah. Another is rights of the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Another is rights of the creation. What's the other right? Brother, what's the other right that we need to also ask forgiveness from?
The right of yourself.
Good, mashallah. The right of oneself. Our self also has a right upon us. Our nafs also has a right upon us. What is that right? Is that ku anfusikum. What Rasulullah say to us is that, and Allah SWT mentioning, is that ku anfusikum ahlikum nara, is that first and foremost, we are doing dawah to that person. Many of us, like myself here, is that I am not worthy to be in facing you and speaking to you. That's why I had myself in the basement anyway. Is that I'm always in the basement. I really, is that if you were to know my halat, Allah knows best what you would be doing. You're throwing slippers at me maybe, Allah ta'ala. So I am not in with it. But ku anfusikum. So many people, they want to be doing dawah. Very first person you do dawah is yourself. You need to give dawah to yourself. So this night of power is about me. Forget about everybody else at this moment. Yes, we can think of that. They are secondary now. Now it's about me. Is that we need to think about myself. What about myself? Is that myself has a right. I need to save myself from the hellfire first. And then my family, and then my friends, and then my neighborhood and colleague and the whole masses. And what we're trying to do is, let me shape the whole world, but myself is going to hellfire. That doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make sense. This is not the sunnah of Allah. You should be the sunnah of Rasulullah. This is the way you should do it. This is how they're taught. So here is that you ask for forgiveness from the rights of Allah, Messenger, of one's guide, of creation, and also oneself. What are the rights of yourself? Is that you should be actually, one of the rights of yourself is to actually save you from the hellfire. Save yourself from the fire of hell. Save yourself from sins and disobedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Clothing yourself, feeding yourself with the rights of vision, giving yourself right rest. Now, you might be thinking it's sounding silly, is that feeding yourself and also giving it right rest. There are people who do taxis, they do probably 20 hours a day. That's a zulm upon themselves. There are people who work and not given sufficient rest. that is zulm upon your own self. There are people who are not feeding themselves properly. That's a zulm upon yourself. One should also think about the self as well, because this has a right. Your body has a right. So then Salatul Shukr, Salatul Istikhara, Salatul Hajat. So 8 rakat namaz, 2 rakats each. Salatul Tawbah, Salatul Shukr, Salatul Hajat, Salatul Istikhara. These are 8 rakats, 2 each. What should you recite in every single one of them? This. 1 time Surah Fatiha, 7 times Surah Ayatul Kursi, 1 time Surah Ayatul Kursi. So 1 time Surah Fatiha, 1 times Ayatul Kursi in every rakat, and then 7 times Surah Qadr, Inna anzalnahu fi Layla-tul Qadr, and then 7 times Surah Ikhlas, Qul huwallahu ahad, Allahu samad, all the way to the end. So again, I repeat, in every rakat you recite Surah Fatiha once, Ayatul Kursi once, 7 times Surah Qadr, 7 times Surah Ikhlas. And then you finish the salah as normal, go on to the other ones. Afterward, then you recite these azkars. There's a PDF version which is on, if you're on the groups, they would have sent you the PDF of these amal, so you don't need to worry. And there may be some physical copies upstairs somewhere, we can get that as well. But you can, after you finish the salah, then you can read this by looking at your phone, you can recite this. So 10 times Durood, 3 times Astaghfirullah la ilaha illa huwa al-hayyul qayyum wa tubu ilayh. Then 33 times Allahumma innaka afu tuhibbul fa'fu anni. And then 33 times Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim. 33 times, it's really tongueful when your mouth is dry, it's very hard to say 33 times. So I do apologize. And if I'm mumbling, I do also apologize as well. We're on the latter stage, I suppose. So I do apologize if I'm mumbling or if I'm going too fast for you that you can't understand, especially our DK brothers. But I think the way I'm speaking, I'm sounding more Danish than English, so you should find it very easy. Regeti? Yeah, there you go. See, fluent Danish I am, honestly. So La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah 33 times, and then Durood Sharif again 10 times, okay? So you begin with the Durood, end with the Durood. So I repeat, 33 times Astaghfar, 33 times the dua of Qadr, Allahumma innaka afu tuhibbul fa'fu anni, 33 times Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, 33 times La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah, and then Durood Sharif right then 10 times, inshallah. Questions I'll take afterwards, inshallah, don't worry. So now, always our mashayikh, what they do is that they don't leave you alone, because if you're supplicating, the mind needs to be doing something as well. And always our mashayikh, what they do is that they give you the actual things to supplicate, so your tongue is busy in supplicating, but the mind should be also left filled with something. Otherwise you're going to be thinking about kebabs and food and clothes and everything else. So what should you imagine then? So whilst you're reciting this, ab koshish kare, try your best to actually imagine these things. What is it? One should imagine oneself leaving this life, walking towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's kingdom. It's a thing that you can read, inshallah, yourself. Imagine the body is being engraved with the words Allah Jal. So now you're leaving now the name of Allah is the body you're engraving. Once you engrave something, what happens? It doesn't leave, it leaves a permanent mark. It's there for life, isn't it? I'm just going to tell a story just that, no, I think, no. You see, what are the ustads? Did you hear the asatizas? They're all complaining, apparently the story was too long this morning. I said, it's not my fault, they asked me to tell stories. So there you go, asatizas proof. Brother Zafar, they want story. They want a story, there you go. No, I'll tell the story. Okay, I'll tell you just one little. It's about marks. It's about leaving marks. It was actually once Shaykh Ahmad Abaghdadi told us, he explained this, a wise wisdom, wise words they mentioned. These are all fruits of the teachings, really. And how can you not talk about them and talk about their teaching? There's nothing more better than to talk about their teaching, because it's full of wisdom and full of light. Anyhow, they once in the lectures, they mentioned is that a wise person once said to his sons, they gave him some planks of wood and a hammer and some nails. And what they said was that, I want you to go build a fence for me. So take the wood and nails and the hammer. So I said, okay. So he'd done the method. All he had to do was just put the planks on and get the fence ready. So he took the hammer, started bang, 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 bang. He's putting it on, putting it on, putting it on. MashaAllah, he thought he did a great job. So he said, Dad, I've finished it now. I've done. It's all done now. It's brilliant. Looks, imagine, shall I paint it now? No, so now take it off with the hammer. He's thinking, Dad, what have I done that you're doing this to me? Why are you doing that? You want me now to take it off with the hammer? So what happened is that, okay, Chola, he's a good, loyal son. He said, okay, take it off. He's taking it off one by one with the nails taken off. So the wood has got the nail attached to it, but took it off. Now he said, remove the nail from the wood as well. He's thinking, I could be doing other things. What is my father doing this to me? Why is he saying this? Now he wants me to remove the nails from the wood as well. Okay, took it off one by one, took it all off. Some nails got damaged, but still he took them all off. Then the father said to the son, son, look at the piece of wood. He said, yes. What is it now? He said, well, it's wood. It's still wood. He goes, no. Did the nails leave a mark when you hammered them in? He said, of course they have. Of course they have. There's a hole there. Some of them bits are cracked. Of course they are. Then this is what they said is that this is why you should be careful when you hurt somebody's heart or utter some words, because it will pierce that person's heart and it will actually be hard to actually remove that. It will leave a mark on the heart. Be careful what you utter, what you say to one another, because you will try to, forgiveness is what? Retracting that statement, but it's left a mark on the heart. If it's hard, there's a scar there. The wood is never the same, is it? So be careful what you utter. Once you utter it, it will never. You will have to retract it, but unfortunately leave a mark. So one should be careful. So in other words, here if we take now if we take the example of Allah SWT, when we engrave it, it should leave a mark, shouldn't it? It should leave a reminder. It should leave a effect upon us that this is the being you want. That is why we say when we imagine the name of Allah is engraved in your heart and your body, that is reminding you who your objective is, who you should be following, who you want to imitate. So imagine the body is becoming the letters of your request, i.e. the du'as that you request into Allah SWT. Imagine it's becoming. Now imagine the body as a paper in which you write your feelings, all of your feelings and all your shortcomings are written there in following Allah SWT. The shortcomings, the shortfalls that you will really, really fall short of Allah's command, you're writing it down. And you're saying, Ya Rabbal Alameen, look at this. I'm in such a mess. I'm in a mess. I'm so tired up. I need your forgiveness. Imagine darkness being ejected out and radiating out. So all this darkness now coming out of you as you're reciting these adhkars, all the darkness that is coming out slowly, and you've been filled with light and closeness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. After that, so you've done the 8 rakat namaz, you've done those adhkars after the namaz. After that, one should perform muraqabah of the blessed name Allah for 10 minutes. Now you think, you ponder, so you try to visualize the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, think that is above your head, and imagine that the blessed name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is being engraven on your entire body until it becomes illuminated inside your heart. So the light's coming down, and what happens? You engrave it in your heart, and then what happens? It illuminates inside your heart, it radiates inside your heart, and you start calling Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with your heart, and for it to always be in the remembrance life. We say, give us a heart that is beating your name, is calling your name all the time. Let this blessed name dominate your entire body on what you see, what you hear, all your body and your life, so that the entire body, mind and heart is always living in Allah's remembrance until death. For far too long the heart has been away from true remembrance of Allah, so now bring it to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's light of remembrance. So you've done 8 rakat namaz with adhkars, 10-minute muraqabah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's name, and lighting, spreading, and calling upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, the third amal you're going to do is the dhikr Allah, Allah for 20 minutes. And the seeker should call Allah, Allah with all his, but not just with the tongue, with all your body, with all your mind and heart, enabling all to become in Allah, chanting Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's name. Imagine you're in the presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. How will you beg for forgiveness from Him? Will you tell Him your shortcomings? That is a good question. Let me ask, is that if you had the opportunity to speak to Allah, what would you say? Think and ponder. If you imagine you're going to do this now, and you had an opportunity to speak to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in His presence, what would you want to say? And if you say, I don't know, how can you be saying, I don't know, when He is the one who gave you existence and life and everything? There's could be something that you want to say. Do you not at least want to say thank you? Imagine, I'm saying, have you really ever pondered actually, although you do muraqabah, I'm just saying conscientiously, have you ever thought that if I have the moment, if I sit and I then try to drift and be in the presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and now I'm in the court of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is seeing me, is hearing me, is listening to me, what would you want to say to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? What would you want to say? That is how you get intimacy with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Who you really are and how you've been doing. So where will you start? By words or by tears or by both? Beautiful statement there. Is, do you want to start with words? Sometimes words don't come, so the tears come. Tears is the thing of communication. Tears come. And sometimes the tears are coming and then the heart speaks. And sometimes just tears are coming and body is just moving, it knows, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows what you're saying. That is the beauty. It's such a thing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created in such a way that even words don't really need to be uttered, but He understands. Amazing, isn't it? That words don't need to be uttered, but He understands. Tears are coming out, and still you can't express it, and you're just crying. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows what you're trying to say, what you're feeling. So lose yourself in the presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Lose yourself. Allah is all aware, but you are aware that you and is well aware of what you are doing as well. So that is now what we've done is 8 rakat namaz, and we've mentioned what you're supposed to recite in the namaz: Surah Fatiha, Ayatul Kursi once, and then 7 times Surah Qadr, 7 times Surah Ikhlas. Thereafter, you recite those azkars after the 8 rakat namaz. 10 minutes muraqabah of Allah's name, 20 minutes Allah, Allah, chanting the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So these are something that the inner thought that you can have is, what inner words will you use to call Him? Will you call Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with empty words? Will you call them with your heart? How will you call them? Will you blame others, or will you admit and blame yourself for the entire shortcomings? Best thing is blame yourself, don't blame others. Blaming others is the way in which shaitan does. Shaitan does what? He says, it's said in Adam's law that I didn't prostrate. It's his fault. And the progeny of Adam. If it wasn't for them, I would have been still good. Na'uzubillah min dhalik. That's the blame game. This is the Dajjalic way and the Shaitanic way. And the Nuranic way and the prophetic way, like our father told Sayyidina Adam Islam, is Rabbana zalamna anfusana. That, Ya Rabbal Alam, I have wronged myself. Put your hands up. Today is a day, tonight is a night, is forget about everybody. Just say, it's me, I'm at fault. Actually, I'm telling you, you'll feel liberated, honestly, from yourself. You'll feel liberation. What I mean is that you're encaged of what? Of blaming others. Once you actually start free yourself of blaming others, blaming yourself, you'll feel liberation. It's me. And I just need to focus on myself. It's not them, it's me. And keep on doing that. Feel that ease of tension is going to, it is me. It is waki, it is me. It is my fault. Watch how Allah SWT then actually showers you with more guidance and help and mercy. So completely submit with repentance, in shamefulness of not following Allah Ta'ala's command. Imagine you're walking and then crawling towards Allah's pleasure. Imagine the light of Allah Ta'ala's name entering your memory and your heart, your soul, dominating into words of remembrance. What will you do to be forgiven? How far will you go to please Him? Allah just wants one thing from you all. It's your hearts. Mine and your heart. We're giving our hearts to our family. We're giving our hearts to our jobs. We're giving our hearts to a football team. We're giving our hearts to a rock band. We're giving our hearts to Bollywood. We're giving our hearts to this actress and this actor. We're giving our hearts to the ideologies and so on. Our heart is disfigured and completely corrupt in different things, different portions, in different places. All Allah SWT is saying is that, oh my servant, that heart was not created to love anything else other than me. That is why we are feeling depressed. That is why we're feeling upset. That is why we're feeling hollow. That is why we're feeling distant. That is why we're feeling cold. That is why we're feeling dull. It's because the instrument that was created to love Allah, we're damaging that instrument, or we're actually making it futile by stuffing it with things which was not designed to take. Heart is the instrument which is designed to love Allah and Allah alone, nothing else. That's why when we say Hasbi Rabbi Jallallah, Ma fi qalbi ghayrullah, is that Allah says that Ma fi qalbi ghayrullah, that Shaykh Mudabagh mentioned in one of the explanation of this, Ma fi qalbi, is that there's nothing I desire in my heart except for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, i.e., I don't want any other love, any other want, any other desire except for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in my heart. Once you really honestly, once you feel that taste of just that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala being in your heart, His love, His presence, His name and nothing else, it will be such a unifying moment, such a intimacy that you feel that you just want it to last as long as possible, because that is when you really tasted the love of Allah, because you're rid of everything else other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala just wants our hearts. So give them your heart and you shall have it in both worlds. This is also the dua that you should recite for 20 minutes. After the 20 minutes Allah Allah, then for 20 minutes you recite the dua of Qadr, is that Allahumma innaka afu tuhibbul afwa fa'fu anni. Recite this for 20 minutes. Allahumma innaka afu tuhibbul afwa fa'fu anni. Allahumma innaka afu tuhibbul afwa fa'fu anni. So once you call Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with the words of the heart and soul, it is the key of sending this request in the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Imagine, now when you're reciting the, what should you imagine? Imagine you're in prostration, sujood, in the blessed presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, begging for all your shortcomings of one's action and deeds. Beg Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with the tears of the body and heart which cries from one's souls, in the realm of returning the presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has never forgotten us, nor has He ever abandoned us, but always showers His love and mercy upon us, and He wishes to forgive us. But it is us, myself and yourself, which is actually always turning away and not returning back. Now tonight, my dear brothers and elders and youngsters and sisters who are listening, is that tonight, let's make it a night when we turn sincerely back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Let's fully empty our baggages and go and turn towards Him truly, sincerely. Whatever grudges that we have one another, release it. Whatever issue we have with one another, with your spouse, with your children, with your friends, with your spiritual brothers, sisters, whatever it is, forgive them, release them. I know what I'm saying, you might be thinking it's not as easy as that, but for the sake of Allah, just do it. For the sake of Allah, just release it. For the sake of Allah, whoever's hurt you, just forgive them. Be the bigger person and forgive them. You don't need to tell them I've forgiven you. Be the bigger person. Be the mature person. Be the Muhammadin person who actually forgives without them even asking. What could be a greater zulm upon you and me than what happened to the Prophet ﷺ when people of Taif actually trenched them with stones, and then the people of Makkah throwing them out of their own house, own land, own country, own city, you could say. Throwing them out. In those days, Makkah was like a country, not a city. It's a country, because those days, traveling from one place to another is like going from one country to another. So their own people rid the place in which their whole forefathers were living, and the Makkah, even when Rasulullah in days of Hijrah, our beloved teacher Shaykh Muhammad mentioned, at the time of Hijrah, when they're actually going towards the migration, when they're going, as they're going towards the back streets and they're going and they're leaving the Rasulullah, they look back towards Makkah. Imagine Rasulullah looking back with tears in his eyes. Because why? This is the beloved house of Allah is there. Looking back, and he supplicated, "Oh Makkah, it is not that I don't love you, it's just the people don't want me there." Looking at the Makkah is weeping, Rasulullah is weeping. The Kaaba is weeping, Rasulullah is weeping. This is the place in which whom he was born there. How blessed is that land? How blessed is that place in which Allah selected, in which he was going to be born. This is the place in which the Quran was revealed. Ghar Hira. How blessed is that land. This is the place where Baytullah is. How blessed that land. Do you think Rasulullah wants to leave? No, he doesn't want to leave. But he looked. All those, so now how much regret, how much of revenge would you want that these people are persecuting my followers, are persecuting the Muslims, are persecuting me, they want to kill me, they want to tarnish my reputation, they want to kill those people who say La ilaha illallah, and that's why they have to leave everything, their wealth, their possessions, their houses, their homes, their security, they left everything and gone towards Medina. Now when you can get revenge, when Fatah Makkah came, people of Makkah, what were they doing? They're quivering, they're shaking, they think this is it. But look at the magnanimity of Rasulullah, his karam, his humbleness, but also his generosity, that he forgave. And you know how, if we were to go back and conquer another land and conquer another town, let's say for example, a gangster comes and says, yeah, and now I've seized the land, I've seized my area, he'll be the first one to step foot. Not Rasulullah. This is not the Muhammadan way. Look, our beloved Messenger Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. He's the last, with 10,000 army, he's the last one right at the bank, with his head down on the camel, with humility. Humility. Right at the back of the army with humility. Because he's returning. This was already foretold, he knew. And not only that, he could have stayed there, he didn't need to go to Medina. But this is the beauty of our beloved Messenger Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, is that whatever goodness somebody does, they always have to return that favor. He could have stayed there. That's why the Ansar, they were worried Rasulullah go back. He said, do not worry. Is that you are Ansars, you gave me a house when I had no house. You gave me a place, I'm just paraphrasing my words so you understand. Is that you gave me security when I was when I had none. You gave me shelters when I had no shelter. I will not be leaving you. This will be my home now. So now Medina is blessed. Yathrib is blessed. Anyway, that's a side topic. What I'm trying to say is that for all my brothers and sisters who are listening, is that please, I implore you that if I'll be the first to say, and it's easy now for any person that I've hurted, my family, my friends, my colleagues, my brothers, spiritual brothers and sisters, anybody who's listening, is that if I have hurt you, if I've violated your rights, I ask your forgiveness. I definitely have. So I ask your forgiveness on this blessed night which is coming. I ask you for your forgiveness. My wife, my children, my mother, my brothers, my sisters, all of you, my brothers and sisters in Tariq. If I've hurt you in any way, if I've said anything harshly, if I've talked behind your back, if I've said anything, if I've disgraced you or dishonored you in any way, I ask for complete forgiveness from yourself. And if there's anything that I owe, then please do come to me so that I know that I owe you this. And likewise, you also do the same to me. You also forgive me, and I will also forgive you, inshallah, for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And shayad maybe if we forgive each other by the barakah of this night and the blessing of this night, maybe the athar of the zulmat going out, darkness going out, maybe this also aids and helps more blessings come upon our beloved teacher, and they become fixed as well. They also become healed as well. Who knows? Koshish kare, do it for the sake of Allah, and who knows, that might happen. One should then send salam and durood upon the Prophet and the companions in a special way. One should reflect on himself and the means of silent communication. Do munajat for 10 minutes. So last thing you do is munajat, communicate with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with your heart. So that's 8 rakat namaz. Thereafter the tasbiyat after salah. You do 10-minute muraqabah, 20 minutes Allah la dhikr, 20 minutes Allahumma innaka afu tuhibbul afafu anni for 20 minutes. And the last thing you do is 10 minutes munajat, and you converse with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You talk to Him and try and receive a jawab back. So that was more or less the amals that a person should actually do for this night. You all have the potential to achieve Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's pleasure. So shaitan will put in your head, your little shaitan, it's not the big one, little shaitans are put in your head. It's put in your head, nah, you can't do it, you can't change, Ramadan can't change. Don't listen to him. Give him a slap if you want to. Spiritual like Ustaz Sajid did yesterday, like this. Just do that. Oh yeah. That's the way to tell shaitan, go away. I have the power. He gave you the power yesterday that you can do it. You're blessed people, you can do it. You are here. Be positive. Don't always try to be the negative. Oh, I'm weak. I'm usually like this, but I'm telling you, tonight I'm going to be strong. Yes. I am weak. I cannot do. No. Start being the person that you can do. You are the servant of Allah. You are Bani Adam. You are the Ummah of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Show that. Be proud of it. And show shaitan that I will not fall to you and your traps. Show Dajjal and his forces that no, I am not part of you. I am part of the force of Imam Hussein, Imam Hassan, of the Imam Mahdi, of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I am of them, their camp, not any others. Be counted. So find the power to change into righteousness. And when you have found that heart which is willing to submit to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you shall find in the night, you shall find Layla-tul Qadr. It is the power of changing hearts into following the prophetic heart. Those who seek it shall find the night of power. So change your life from being ordinary to extraordinary. What I mean by that, ordinary is like any other person, any other place, which is like, please don't take any offense, which I'm saying is that ordinary is what? You eat, you sleep, you drink, you marry, you educate, you work, you do business, and so forth. Well, me and you are Ashraf al-Mukhlaqat, we're the best of the creation. And I say that please don't take any offense. But animals, they also eat. Animals, they also drink. They also sleep. They also marry. They also have children. They raise children. They educate. They actually go and do business. What's the difference between myself and animal kingdom? How is that any different? There's no difference. So ordinary from ordinary, what I mean, this ordinary same thing that I'm doing every day, every night, and I'm just engulfed in the dunya. Make your heart extraordinary is when the heart transformed to becoming what? The prophetic heart. That is extraordinary. And the prophetic heart is the one thing that has Allah at the center point of their life. Allah-centric heart, not dunya-centric heart. Let's transform from dunya-centric to Allah-centric. From shaitan-centric to nuranic and prophetic-centric. Let's do that change. Really push and do that change tonight, inshallah. And the last dua of Mashaykh said is, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, may you find this night of power to return to true servants and to be entered in His kingdom of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. May you all be the servant of Allah ta'ala and always live in the path of Sirat Mustaqim. May you truly appreciate this blessing of following our guidance. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala always be in the may you always be in the presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, every moment, every breath, inshallah aziz. So this is the amals of Layla-tul Qadr. So is there anybody not clear of what to do tonight? And then if you don't remember any of this, I say, Brother Qays, this is too much. Simplify me. I'm not being like Ustaz Sajid here. It's too much, Brother Qays. Simplify. He'll always tell me, make it simpler. Make it simpler. Okay, now I'm thinking, how can I make it simpler? So how can I make it simpler? Simple thing. If you find nothing else, you don't do anything, all I'm saying to you is, from internally the heart, repent, connect with Allah and repent, and do 2 rakasat of tawbah, and just remember Him and cry to Him, and make an intention that you want to change. If you don't remember anything, just do this at least. Come on, walk a little. And sometimes what it is that I know that because of lack of space, you're in public is difficult. Really try to actually, if you can, I know it's hard, but try to block everybody out at that moment. Lose yourself. Really lose yourself. In the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in His presence. Lose yourself. Don't think if I cry, what He's going to say is so embarrassing. Forget it. Well, forget what people think if I'm crying. Forget if people think I'm thinking. Leave them. Really, really cry to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that I am this, because you will be on the day of judgment, we will be doing this. Abikalle, now cry and laugh then. Cry now, shed tears now, and be joyous then. It's easier to do it now than then. The tears will be more weighty now than then. So lose yourself. So that is the amals of Layla-tul Qadr. Do that, inshallah, Allah bless you. Now, what is Layla-tul Qadr? Now I will tell you one little story before we go to. And now you're gonna. Everybody's even coming closer now. Look at that. They're all coming closer now. Okay, they're all coming closer for the little story. And now, this was actually related by Sayyidina Abdullah the Bagh, rahmullah, the person, our mashayikh, our grand sheikh, the teacher of our teacher, Sayyidina Ahmad al-Bagh, who resides in Fez, whom in the spiritual world that you're actually connected to. In Al-Ibri Sharif, they mentioned the reason of Layla-tul Qadr, what really happens on Layla-tul Qadr. So Allah SWT even alludes that in the Malaika descent. But where is His origin? The origin is this: is when Allah SWT, now listen carefully. I won't be saying about, but do listen carefully. Try to understand. When Allah SWT created the heavens and earth, and He created this world, at that moment, what happened was that the world, as they tell you, is that everything's forming, the worlds are forming, and so forth. Everything's there. Malaika are residing on this first heaven. They're all residing here. The angels of the first heaven, they're residing in different worlds. Every single here in this world, as well as other planets, other rocks, stars, they're all residing there. It's just our notion that there's nothing there. They're all there. Go to the first heaven, they're filled with angels. So what happens is that the angels, the malaik of this world, they're all residing, and all of a sudden, Allah said, "Kun" to the sun, and the sun burst out its light. Sun burst out its light, rays of light, and it reached the earth. It reached the earth. Malaika saw this strange phenomenon they didn't know. And they thought, that's it, we're going to be destroyed now. Punishment has come from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because it's pure pitch black darkness, for they've never seen this light before. It's hit the earth, and they don't know what's going on. So what happens is they say, no, what do we do? What do we do? They're in panic. They don't know what to do. So what they do is that they say, okay, it was dark before, let's go to the darker part. Let's go in the dark area. Maybe we'll be saved there. And the sun is then following them. So they keep on moving. They go ahead, they go back, they're going down. They're going towards the dark land, the dark area. And it keeps them from there saying, no, Ya Rabbal Alameen, they're beseeching Allah, please save us, what's happening? The Malaika going down until they did the full 360 turn, they went through the earth, they realized they're still alive. Allah hasn't destroyed the world. Allah hasn't destroyed those whatsoever. So what happened? They went from one point and they went all the way through the earth and they came back to the same point and they realized they're still alive. And to do shukr of the fact that they're still alive, that Allah just created the light of the sun on this first heaven, that the light of the sun is created. To be thankful, that is what they do. All the angels first, and they come down into the earth to thank Allah for that blessing of light, and they didn't destroy them. That is why it's Layla-tul Qadr. That tanazzalul malaika, that all the angels, then from what happens that they told the first 7 angels, they said, Ya malaika, and they told Jibreel, and look, Allah did such a thing, such a favor, please let us all come in communion and let's all thank Allah. So they all gathered, came down, and they come down on the face of the earth to thank Allah for not destroying them. And actually then bless the land. And also another thing the Mashayikh said is that by the angels coming, the spiritual this is that it's a way in which in the way in which the Mashayikh of Shahid Tariqah, what they said is that the way in which the whole earth also gets purified as well. All the malaika coming, the whole earth at least once in the year gets completely purified from the zulmat. Obviously it doesn't last long, does it? But unfortunately, what can you do is that imagine all over from where it started. There are many places now, probably if it is a night of Qadr, it's already started and they're slowly coming down towards where we are now. Maghrib is entering and you start feeling the whole, if you are able to think it, you'll feel the whole mahal changing. The ambience, everything changed. Why? Because it's angelic. Angels, if the whole earth is now filled with angels and they're coming and greeting, what do you expect the land and the atmosphere will be? It's also changing as well. So that's why they said if you cannot feel that, because our heart is so dead, it's so hard, it's so sickened, that it can't even feel this as well. So we really need to repent. We really need to change. We really need to turn back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But use the wasil of this night. So that is the short story in which the night of power actually came by Sayyidina Abdul Aziz Dabbar Rahmullah. They mentioned this is how the origin of the genesis, should I say, I'm getting really good at English now after these sessions. The origins of Layla-tul Qadr, as mentioned by Sayyidina Abdul Zabbar Rahmullah, that is actually the malaika going round when the light of the sun was created. That is what they did to thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for this blessing. Okay, Jazakallah jazaa, subhanaka wa bihamdik, ashhadu la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Now, if anybody has any question regarding the Amas, you may do so. Mullah Mustafa. Brother, is it answered? Okay, Jazakallah. Just Mullah. Amin, summa amin, Jazakallah khair. No, this is a myth. I don't know. It's like also on Thursday night, they do know. If Allah wills, that's a different matter. But unless they are wali of Allah, or wali of Allah, and Allah has given them ijazah, certain souls maybe have given ijazah by the barakah blessing. Certain spirits, like the spirit of Sayyidina Abdul Barahullah and Sayyidina Qadr, they have been given ijazah to help the ummah. Even after, imagine, they're gone away, the spirit is still helping people and guiding people from the world of barzakh. So yes, certain spirits like the shuhada, they're allowed to come and they roam wherever they want, they can do. But as a general rule, no, the parents, spirits of the parents don't come back to the house. And some people, they'll have food ready or the clothing ready. This is actually a wrong misconception. This is not true. If Allah wills, then obviously Allah wills, that's a different matter. By the wasila, if they were pious and righteous people and Allah has given them that access, yes, Allah can do, but this is general, as a general rule of thumb, no, that is not the case. Okay. Yes, one should definitely, that is one of the haqq, the rights, that you should make dua for them. Once they're living and when they pass away, you should make dua for them, definite. Yes.
A couple of things. Firstly, there's some leaflets regarding these amals. So the actual methodology is been printed out. So as Brother Siraj there has bringing them to the front. Please take one, but treasure and value them and keep them. Do not just then drop them in any corner on top of the radiators, windowsills, and leave them lying around. I highly recommend that if you take it, only take it if you need it. Otherwise, we have sent them to you on the phone as well. And take it and then obviously keep it with you. Like, this is like sacred text. You keep it with you. You don't just discard it after you finished reading it. And secondly, just for like a question on behalf of everyone, Imam Qays, sometimes people get a bit busy with Taraweeh, Durood Majlis, and they may not have time to do this particular amals. What time up until can they do this?
So inshallah, before Zawal of tomorrow, so for example, before 12 o'clock tomorrow, let's say before 12 o'clock tomorrow, you've got this night all the way before. Let's say you haven't finished the amal, you've done some, then there's Durood Majlis and the others. After Fajr, you want to just wake up a little bit early and finish them off. So before, let's say, approximately 12 o'clock tomorrow, if you do it, inshallah, it's as if you've done your amal for Layla-tul Qadr. Okay?
Literally one last question if anybody has one, otherwise we'll make our way upstairs, even though we do have...
So if you don't know Surah Qadr, just recite Surah Ikhlas, inshallah. But try. I mean, it's not a hard one, inshallah. If you can probably learn it within half an hour if you put effort in. But if not, then Surah Ikhlas, just recite this, inshallah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala maaf kare, inshallah that'll be fine. Ji Padh Umar. No, here is that when you have repetitive surah, if you recite Bismillah once, that's sufficient, inshallah. That covers. If it's the same surah you're reciting, if you recite Bismillah, if you want to recite, you have the option, you can do. But if you recite it once at the beginning, thereafter it covers that, inshallah. For that one surah, then if you move to another surah, then you recite Bismillah again. If you recited that for 3, 4, 5 times, you don't need to always say, but if you want to do it, you can do.
Anybody else have a question? Okay, that's fine. We shall close the session. But please remain seated downstairs until the brothers call us upstairs that they are ready to receive us. So, inshallah, we close the session now. Subhanakallah wa hamdika ashhadu la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Just stay downstairs for the time being, please.
Reward for better than 1,000 months. 1,000 months. Sayyidina Abdul Aziz al-Dabbagh, rahimahullah, and such mashayikh of Shaldiya, they said that why people get so much reward and it becomes better than 1,000 months is that when angels, tanazzalul malaikatu war ruh, when angels come on the face of the earth, they transfer their good deeds to the book deeds of people books of amalis salihah of angel, they transfer to your book of deeds, the believers. फरमाया कि असल में ये सारा सवाब जो ये नाइट का अजर इतने बढ़ जाता है, उसकी वजह कि ये सारे फरिश्ते उतरते आसमान से जिब्रील अलैहिस्सलाम के साथ और वो सारा साल इबादत करते हैं. दे वर्शिप ऑल ईयर. जितनी तस्बीह इबादत की होती है उनके पास, वो जिसको मिलते हैं उसको शेयर देते हैं, उसके अमालनामे में लिखते हैं, उसके अमालनामे के मुंतकिल करते हैं. इसलिए जो लोग उस रात इबादत करते हैं वो उनकी इबादत बहुत आला 1,000 मंथ्स जैसी हो जाती है. बिकम्स लाइक 1,000. Do you know why this night is very blessed? Why people get so much reward for better than 1,000 months? 1,000 months. Sayyidina Abdul Aziz al-Dabbagh, rahimahullah, and such mashayikh of Shaldiya, they said that why people get so much reward and it becomes better than 1,000 months is that when angels, tanazzalul malaikatu war ruh, when angels come on the face of the earth, they transfer their good deeds to the deeds of people books of Amal is Saliha of angel, they transfer to your book of deeds, the believers. फरमाया कि असल में ये सारा सवाब जो ये नाइट का अजर इतने बढ़ जाता है, उसकी वजह कि ये सारे फरिश्ते उतरते आसमान से जिब्रील अलैहिस्सलाम के साथ और वो सारा साल इबादत करते हैं. दे वर्शिप ऑल ईयर. जितनी तस्बीह इबादत की होती है उनके पास वो जिसको मिलते हैं उसको शेयर देते हैं, उसके अमाल नामे में लिखते हैं, उसके अमाल नामे के मुंतकिल करते हैं. इसलिए जो लोग उस रात इबादत करते हैं वो उनकी इबादत बहुत आला 1000 मंथ्स जैसी हो जाती है. बिकम्स लाइक 1000. Do you know why this night is very blessed? Why people get so much reward for better than 1000 months? 1000 months. Sayyidina Abdul Aziz al-Dabbar, rahimahullah, and such mashayikh of Shaldiya, they said that why people get so much reward and it becomes better than 1000 months is that when angels, tanazzalul malaikatu war ruh, when angels come on the face of the earth, they transfer their good deeds to the deeds of people books of Amal is Saliha of angel, they transfer to your book of deeds, the believers. फरमाया कि असल में ये सारा सवाब जो ये नाइट का अजर इतने बढ़ जाता है, उसकी वजह कि ये सारे फरिश्ते उतरते आसमान से जिब्रील अलैहिस्सलाम के साथ और वो सारा साल इबादत करते हैं. दे वर्शिप ऑल ईयर. जितनी तस्बीह इबादत की होती है उनके पास वो जिसको मिलते हैं उसको शेयर देते हैं, उसके अमाल नामे में लिखते हैं, उसके अमाल नामे के मुंतकिल करते हैं. इसलिए जो लोग उस रात इबादत करते हैं वो उनकी इबादत बहुत आला 1000 मंथ्स जैसी हो जाती है. बिकम्स लाइक 1000. Do you know why this night is very blessed?